Hi everyone! Oh my goodness, I feel so weird recording a video considering it's been like 4 months, 5 months. I feel really bad on you guys because I was a regular uploader and I seem to gain quite a following while I've been off as well. So hi to new subscribers. For me, it's a lot of subscribers. Having like 8 people thinking, gosh, I want to watch her every week. So thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for coming along and subscribing. I know I've been a really bad YouTuber and you can probably tell by the title of this video why, but I wanted to explain myself because I was in a really bad place, probably one of the worst places I've been in a long time when I stopped filming videos. I had been to the doctors because my anxiety seemed to get out of control. Now at the time I didn't really know that I had anxiety, I didn't know what triggered it, I didn't know how to cope with it. It was just the fear that I got inside that caused attacks and made me cry, and I just thought it was normal. Apparently you're not supposed to react in that way, you shouldn't go into a certain mode, and I needed to get that sorted, and I hope you can appreciate why I needed to take time out and just improve on myself and make myself better and happier, because otherwise my videos wouldn't have been fun and I don't know, I couldn't bring myself to upload. Anxiety for me is a social anxiety, so I fear people's judgment, I fear getting beaten up, probably because I've been beaten up before. I just don't like masses of people, they really scare me, and I think it is just down to judgment. That's what me and my counsellor kind of worked out. The main things that I thought about that were negative that made me have an attack were judgment, people judging me. And I guess you can't stop that, you really can't, but in my brain I tell myself I know what people are thinking, and you don't. If someone looks at me, I instantly think, oh my goodness, they think I'm too fat for this outfit, or they don't like what I've got on. Instead of thinking they might be looking and just thinking she looks nice, or they might just be looking round, they might not even be focusing on me, it's just I've caught a glimpse that their eyes have looked at me. I don't know if that makes sense, it's really difficult to explain. So I wanted to go through like how I've dealt with it and how I have become who I am. I mainly started to feel worse when I started my new job, which is full-time, so I also then started to get anxious about my videos because I didn't have time to do them, or I felt like I didn't have time to do them. And I got to the point where I recorded one video and I couldn't even press upload. I couldn't do it to myself. I was so scared of what was going to come back, comment-wise. So I went to the doctors and just explained what I was feeling, and they told me I had a form of social anxiety and that I needed cognitive behavioural therapy. So I started a stage 2 behavioural therapy last year, and I'm now on the waiting list for stage 3 because stage 2 did work, but I still suffer with my anxiety quite bad when it's mainly now if I'm going into a group of people that I don't know when I'm sober, because when I'm drunk apparently I can talk to anybody. That's so bad. I'm not an alcoholic, I don't need alcohol to get through the day, but I can't do that. And I'm quite terrible when it comes to meeting boys because for some reason I can't date. I just cannot do it. I might be able to push myself once maybe to go on a date and then I can't do it. And it is again down to judgment, people thinking, gosh, what's she with him for, what's he with her for. Anyway, I've lost where I was. Oh my goodness my. So I had stage 2 cognitive behavioural therapy, and I learnt some techniques that I'd like to share with you guys if you think that you may have a little bit of anxiety, or you wanting to try and self-treat because you don't want to ask for help, or you're on a waiting list because in the UK for NHS CBT in my area the waiting list is 6 months. So I don't know what it's like in your area, but you might just be wanting some tips and tricks to kind of work your way through it until you can get the professional help, because I am by no means a professional. I'm just someone who's been there and had the support, and I just want to support anybody else who feels like I did, because what happens to me when I get an anxiety or panic attack is my attack will start by me feeling a knot in my stomach, and then my hands get sweaty, I start to shake, and I just want to cry, and I do tend to start crying, and it's uncontrollable. I'll be shaking like mad. I was going to say something else then, but we'll not say that saying. And the only way to snap me out of it is for me to breathe in through my nose and out through my mouth, and for somebody, generally, if I have an attack, I get someone to rub my back, because rubbing my back and breathing with me tends to calm me down. But some days I can just wake up feeling anxious, and when I am anxious I don't eat, and apparently this is because your body goes into a fight or flight mode. So it's back to the caveman days where your body wants to either fight or run. So the thing to do is get rid of everything in your digestive system so you're lighter. So yeah, you might be sick, you might come out the other end, or you don't eat. I don't eat, I don't drink, I don't do anything. So I went through a phase where I lost about a stone in weight in maybe a month, because I weren't eating lunch, I weren't eating snacks. I was literally having breakfast and then my dinner, if I could do that. But sometimes my breakfast I couldn't eat it all, my dinner I couldn't eat it all. It's just literally like eating maybe this much food a day, which is not healthy. You're supposed to eat all day. So that's when another trigger, I think, that I found, hang on a minute, this isn't like me, I like to eat food, what's going on? So that's what happens to me. Now, because mine's all about judgment, we sat down, did me and my counsellor, and we worked out that if I drew a table out, if I drew a table out and did what could happen and what I think could happen, or the pros and cons of a situation, dependent upon what it was. Like, one of the times was I'm meeting my friend to go out for dinner, we go into an area where I'm really uncomfortable because I could bump into the people that bet me up. What's the worst that could happen? I bump into the people that bet me up. What's the best that could happen? I don't bump into them, we have a good night, we have a good chat, I enjoy myself. That outweighs the con. You could bump into them. What happens if you bump into them? Instantly I think they're going to beat me up again. The chances are they're not. What happens when you bump into them? They might say hi, they might not recognise you. I have changed a lot since school, so that's probably one of the reasons we always put that down, is they might not recognise you. But they might not. Just because they did something silly in school doesn't mean that they're going to do it again. So I had to break it down in a table like that. But I also found that sometimes just breathing in through my nose, out through my mouth, and saying, do you know what, just I'm going to do it, and I just did it, and then from pushing myself and challenging that thought, I became able to do it more, and then that fear became less. Like, I was so scared to go out, I really didn't want to go out drinking or anything like that. And now I go out nearly every weekend, which is not healthy for you. Before someone gets on at me about binge drinking or something. But I do go out drinking often, and I enjoy it now compared to before, where I just felt uncomfortable all the time. I also tried to get rid of safety mechanisms, because you might not know that you do this, but you do things to make you feel safe. One of mine was wear a jacket. I would wear a jacket all the time to cover myself up, and I'd hold it round me because I thought people thought I was fat, or if I felt a little bit uncomfortable, I thought everyone knew. Do you know what? It actually draws more attention to you to be stood there sweating with a jacket on inside than it does to just not wear a jacket. Didn't know that, did I? My brain didn't process that one. But seriously, you need to think about what you do to stop yourself from feeling so uncomfortable, because you might actually be drawing attention to yourself by doing that. I don't know if this is making sense. It's like a crash course, isn't it? And the other thing was, I set myself little tasks. I had to set myself tasks every week with my counsellor, because I had counselling every week. And it would be something like go out without a jacket, or wear a skirt because I didn't really want to wear skirts. One of mine was don't wear heels because the clippy cloppy noise draws attention to yourself. So I wore heels to work and I really, really felt anxious that morning. But you know what? I got so many compliments on how I looked that I was like, oh, wow, okay. It's not as bad as I thought. And to deal with it in everyday life, oh, I'm sorry, my back is killing me. To deal with it in everyday life is hard. I am not going to lie, it's hard work. And you've just got to keep thinking to yourself, I want to overcome this fear that I feel inside me, because eventually you will get to a better place. And I promise you, it's easier to control. I'm not saying you don't have days, weeks where you're anxious, because believe me, you do. Today has been a prime example for me. For some reason, I've been really, really anxious. And it's probably because I knew I was going to film this video when I got home from work, which is why I look a bit shoddy. And to be honest, I struggled to eat my lunch today, but I forced through it and I ate my lunch. And I've made sure that I have eaten well because it's important. And sometimes when you don't eat, you get more anxious as well. Just a little tip there. And I've just pushed through it. I really have just given myself a little check and said, you know what? Stop it. Stop being so hard on yourself, because that's what it is. You're so hard on yourself that you think other people are going to be that hard on yourself. On yourself? On you? I don't know. And honestly, just take a step back and think about it logically if you can, before you get to the panic stage. I sometimes try to be a mind reader, try to know what people are thinking. You can't. You can't tell what anyone's thinking, and I know it's so hard to hear that because you know that you know what they're thinking. You don't. And you have to try, and I know how hard it is, believe me, but you really do need to try and take a step back and just say, right, if I think that person thinks I look fat, what evidence have I got to support it? None. Unless they say something. And then if they do say something, you've just got to think, well, that's one person's opinion. I like what I'm wearing. I don't think I look fat. Tough shit to you. Because people will judge, and that's one thing I have learned. People judge, just keep going, push through it. And I hope this video has been something that you've enjoyed watching. I've enjoyed filming it because I have got my feelings out in the open. I have now told you what has been keeping me away for so long. I can now go ahead and film my videos and just feel like you understand me a little bit more. And if I do take a break, please don't feel offended, because it'll be because of my anxiety, or there'll be a legit reason behind it. So please just bear with me while I get back into the swing of things. I also need to tell you that I think I'll be uploading on either a Friday or a Saturday. I don't know which day is going to work best yet. I finish early on a Friday, so for me filming on a Friday is good, but it depends if I can get it edited and uploaded on the Friday night or if it'll be on a Saturday morning. It really does depend. It might be overnight, but Sundays definitely don't work for me, because if I go out on a Saturday, on a Sunday I'm too hungover or I really can't be bothered because I'm just tired. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, but yeah, that's why I've been away, and I'm so happy to be back. I'm going to film plenty of videos for you lot. It might not be makeup tutorials, it could be reviews, it could just be random lifestyle crap, because I feel like just giving you an insight into my life and who I am, instead of it just being, this is how I apply my eyeshadow. But that will be there too, in a roundabout way, but it might not be classed as a tutorial because I'm crap at explaining. And this has gone into a ramble. Woo! Anyway, this is kind of like a dealing with, coping with anxiety, getting diagnosed with it kind of video. If you'd like to know more about anxiety, if this hasn't given you enough info, or you've got any questions, please put them in the comments, tweet me, ask me on Instagram if you want on any of my photos. I think I've got them all linked somewhere. If not, I will pop them somewhere. And I will see you guys in my next video. Oh, I forgot to mention my haircut. Yeah, my haircut. This is not as short as it normally is, by the way. It does need cutting again. But I don't know if you'd noticed, I've had it lopped off. Ooh, best thing I ever did. Ah. Anyway, I'm going to go. I love you all to pieces so much. And I'm so glad to be back.